Hello, welcome to Outside Xbox. You're watching Show of the Week. I'm Jane.
And I'm Mike. This week I was proud of myself for resisting the temptation to buy a Nintendo Switch.
But Mike, you're holding a Nintendo Switch.
Damn it! What, I mean, can you blame me? There's nothing out right now. It's weeks until Mass Effect Andromeda.
Well, sure, but they're announcing cool stuff all the time.
Like what?
Well, like the sequel to cult Lord of the Rings hit Shadow of Mordor, Mike. Middle-earth Shadow of War whisks us back to the world of epic fantasy battles, bitter personal vendettas, and completely unpronounceable names.
Celebrimbor!
Shadow of War picks up immediately after where Shadow of Mordor left off, with Talion and his spirit buddy Caleb, the elven spirit guy from the first game, raising another army to defeat the Witch King.
But power can blind those who seek it.
Things are complicated by the fact that a new Ring of Power has been discovered. Yep, a brand new one. Someone somewhere is furiously editing a fan wiki right now. Talion and Elf Ghost need to get hold of this ring before it falls into the hands of the Nazgul. To do that, you'll be dominating orcs and adding them to an even bigger army than before. As you might have guessed, the much celebrated Nemesis system, or Nemesystem if you're short on time, is back, meaning you'll come up against enemies that harbour a serious grudge against you.
Did you really think you could kill me that easily?
It's hugely expanded this time though, with individual orcs having more obvious personality traits, being members of different tribes, and more options in combat based on their skills. The good news is, all of that stuff applies to your team too.
Gotcha.
Yes, the Nemesis system now extends to friendly war chiefs in your own army. And if you thought Ian using Sharon's coffee mug had a negative effect on office politics, wait until one of your orcs gets captured and sentenced to death, but ends up escaping and rejoining Sauron's forces.
I fought for you, bled for you, and you left me to die.
I'm no HR expert, but that sounds like grounds for a constructive dismissal lawsuit to me. There's still a huge open world to explore, much bigger than the first game, and a play space that even extends into the human kingdom of Gondor. As a result, we're expecting this game to be a smidge less gloomy than Shadow of Mordor. But although you can run around to your heart's content, the focal point will be the huge assaults on these fortresses that dominate each region. The aim being to replicate the sort of epic scale of battles like Helm's Deep, minus the shield surfing, obviously. Each fortress's defence and throne room decor will reflect the personality of the overlord who rules it, like this guy who is clearly a fan of underfloor heating. His gas bill must be enormous. Of course, when you capture the fortress and assign it to one of your own Uruk-hai, they'll do a quick remodelling job which changes the fortress to suit their preferred defences and tribe affiliation. This guy's a member of the Looting Marauder tribe, so his fortress features more gold than Donald Trump's elevator, and earns you extra loot in the surrounding area.
Here, brothers!
So Shadow of War promises to be bigger, more spectacular, and more complex than the previous game. Worth keeping an eye on, even if you can't pronounce the names. Celebrimbor? I'll get it eventually.
Tell me, how does Sean Bean die in this one?
What?
You know, Boromir in Lord of the Rings, played by Sean Bean. How's he die? Where's he get it? Head? Chest?
This
Groin.
game's not about him, Andy. Shadow of War's set before Fellowship of the Ring. He's probably just hanging out in Gondor or something. He's totally safe, guaranteed.
Yeah, right, Jane. Sean Bean doesn't die in a video game.
I don't mean to spoil all works of fiction containing Sean Bean, past, present and future for you, Jane, but his odds of survival in any given role are worse than a snowman in a sauna. Just consider these tragic times Sean Bean died in the video games we love, but watch out for spoilers, if you can even call them that, from the following. The best Bond game of all time, starring the fourth best Bond of all time, finds a way to bump off our Shaun not once, but twice. In N64 classic GoldenEye, we were already heartbroken to witness trusty Alec Trevelyan buy the farm early on in an Ark-en-Helsk chemical weapons factory. Agent 006, no! What will I tell Agents 001 through 005? But it was more heartbreaking still to discover later the death was faked. Alec is secretly two-faced baddie Yanis, and now you have to battle your former MI6 pal in a tense emotional confrontation. I said tense emotional confrontation. Ugh, would you hold still, young Ned Stark? Be tense and emotional. Fine, first-person shooters hadn't cracked pathos back in 1997, so you shoot him 1 million times and he falls off a platform into a giant satellite dish. Bond is so upset, he doesn't even have a cool quip to make at his dead friend. Like, hate to drop you in it, or see you next fall, or you're looking orbit dead there. Get it? Because it's a satellite dish? Oh, the credits are rolling, never mind. Now to make out with Natalia in this jungle.
We're too late. Mehrunes Dagon is here. Lighting the dragon fires will no longer save us. The barriers that protected us from oblivion are gone.
Illegitimate heir to the Emperor, Martin Septim of Elder Scrolls 4 fame doesn't fare much better at living to a ripe old age. With the help of you, the roving hero of Kvatch, Septim claims the throne and, to save his kingdom, activates his magic Emperor power of turning into a dragon. And when I say dragon, I mean Avatar of Akatosh, Dragon God of Time, the mightiest of the Nine Divines, adversary of Mehrunes Dagon, Prince of Destruction. But you don't need me to tell you that, we're all practicing worshippers of the Nine Divines here. In the process of defeating giant devil guy Dagon, Shaun Bean in his dragon form is mortally wounded and dies. Classic Shaun. On the bright side, this dragon avatar is petrified as it dies, which leaves the people of Tamriel with a pretty sweet giant dragon statue, which is nice. Saves you thousands over ordering one from Games Workshop in shipping costs alone.
The amulet is shattered. Dagon is defeated. With the dragon's blood and the amulet of kings, we have sealed the gates of oblivion.
Moria had been a dark journey for our fellowship.
If you had to choose one of the 9 members of the Fellowship of the Ring to sacrifice, I mean, really had to, you think it'd be a hobbit who'd bite the dust, because, come on guys, we've got 4 of them. There's hobbits for days. But no, Tolkien couldn't spare a single hairy-footed halfling. On the other hand, crafty J.R.R. noticed how at the end of the first Lord of the Rings book, The Fellowship of the Ring, there's 1 elf, 1 dwarf, and 2 humans. And when he picked a human to bump off, naturally, he went for the one he foresaw would one day be portrayed on screen by Sean Bean.
Stray but a little and it will fail.
Incredibly, the doomed actor in Hollywood survives the game adaptation of the Fellowship of the Rings movie because there wasn't one. Boromir actually croaks in the game based on the second Lord of the Rings movie, The Two Towers, which had bits of the first film in it. And it's no less devastating in PlayStation 2 era graphics when he gets shot to bits by Lurtz the Uruk-hai, and laid to rest by his bro-in-arms Aragorn. That's right, Legolas, you better weep, son.
Son of Gondor.
The only way Boromir's noble death as he battles to save the halflings could have been made more moving, realised LEGO game developer Traveller's Tales, is if he got nailed with a broom. No wait, they thought, developing boldly, the only way to crank the redemptive tragedy of this scene is if Sean Bean gets shot with a banana. So that's what was missing from this emotional finale, I did wonder. Yeah, don't worry Merry and Pippin, you guys just hang out. And it's not that I'm using sarcasm to hide how just the original music and voice performances still make me well up like an Oscar winner chopping onions. Shut up, you are!
I would have followed you, my brother. My captain. My king.
This leads to a hidden passageway. Follow it. Once you're away, make for Altissia. Noctis awaits you there.
In Final Fantasy XV, Sean Bean plays King Regis, father of protagonist Prince Noctis, who he sends off on a royal road trip to get some quality time with the lads and eventually marry some princess. Except, twist, it's actually for the safety of his son and the kingdom, because King Shaun knows winter is coming, where by winter we mean gigantic magic murder knight General Glauca, and by coming, we mean coming to stab him with a gigantic magic sword, as if there's any other kind in Final Fantasy. Frankly, you two there, Nyx and Luna, could have been running away and getting a head start while I sacrificed myself in this hopeless duel with the bad guy who was chasing us. But no worries, you just stick around and watch. Yeah, get a good look. Maybe I, Shaun Bean, won't die this one time. Haha, only kidding.
Now it's time to see what's in the comments and how Jane is getting on mastering new Overwatch hero Orisa.
Current outlook, negative.
Come on, Orisa, not in front of the other people.
First up, your comments on last week's show, all about blocky build-em-up Lego worlds.
Oh, oh my god, I can create a clone of myself. This is horrifying. Oh. We've played God, Ellen. We made a terrible mistake.
Commenter Salem Stormwing notices that the first thing Oxbox does when given the power to make copies of stuff is to make chickens. And the second thing is to make copies of themselves. Conspiracy?
No conspiracy. After all, if you're making tons of copies of yourself, you need to give them something to eat.
Oh, I thought we were going with the chicken army to control.
Both good.
It's time to exact my revenge from that time a seagull pooed on my head in Margate.
Commenter Sergeant Johnson 1337 takes pride for all Margatians, saying, Margate, known for its art gallery, amusement park, and now the place Mike got bird poop on his head.
And not just his head.
That bird was unwell. And palindromic commenter McDuckham writes to say, knock knock, interrupting Jane, who gouging eyes out with a spork. Classic Jane. Moving on.
Here.
I usually do this bit. Oh, go ahead.
Moving on, here are your comments on this video about the video game fan theories we hope are true. What's interesting is that although you and I don't know who Farah's father is, the official word is that Farah herself does know who it is, it just hasn't been revealed to the players. Which is nice for her in that she's not going to wind up like Luke Skywalker in a fight with a dude who turns out to have been secretly her dad. But what about me, Blizzard? How will I know if my fanart of Young 76 and Anna making out is canon?
Adorable black and white bear commenter Panda writes to say, I think the Reinhardt theory is slightly more popular than 76 being Farah's father. You don't agree?
No, that's been debunked.
Yeah, but hasn't 76 being Farah's dad also been debunked?
Yeah, but I can ignore that.
Fair point. Commenter Cecil, meanwhile, has always assumed that Lester from GTA 5 is one of the nerds from Bully.
Wow. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Over there, we got the nerds. Of course, they're complete social outcasts. They look pretty harmless. They're actually sneaky bastards.
And commenter Prejudiced Pizza has a suggestion of their own, saying, and an honourable mention to the original theory of Link being dead in Majora's Mask.
That is not the face to make when talking about Link possibly being dead.
Oh, what is it?
This.
Finally this week, your comments on this video about the things we want from Red Dead Redemption Online.
And according to Rockstar, the game's vast and atmospheric world will also provide the foundation for a brand new online multiplayer experience. But what exactly will that online multiplayer experience be? We're hoping it includes the following 7 things.
Commenter CJ Boss 81 thinks that this all sounds good, just as long as they don't keep introducing new and improved horses every week that are faster and better than the expensive horse they just released and that I already bought and is immediately made obsolete unless I spend another $1 million. Deep breath.
$1 million? Man, that would have to be one amazing horse.
Yeah, that horse better do all my gunfighting for me.
Yeah, and play piano.
What if there were different factions you could join, such as outlaws for those who want to rob banks and rustle cattle, and lawbringers for those who want to pin on a sheriff's badge and round up bad guys?
Found that no good piece of dirt. Thank you.
Commenter George Sears, meanwhile, thinks that some problems might take care of themselves. Wouldn't the faction problem automatically solve half the griefing problem and vice versa? Like maybe you can't do friendly fire damage to members of your own crew, or maybe if you did continue to attack fellow teammates, you'd lose reputation with your posse and risk being kicked out. And labelled a lone wolf for a set period of time, at which point both factions would be rewarded very handsomely for killing you, to the point where they'd be teaming up to stomp your unsportsmanlike cowboy butt into a fine paste.
Good point. Thoroughly considered and well made, George.
And this from Caitlin RC, who says, I just want to be able to spike the other players' drinks in the bars and then laugh as they stagger around into a bear. I mean, what?
Oh, yeah, that's also a good point, Caitlin. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to head back to the sofa now.
Okay, cool. I'm going to play some Overwatch, see if I can get as good at Orisa as you are.
Sarcasm module not found.
I wasn't being sarcastic.
Why you hate me, Orisa? That's it for Show of the Week. Thanks for watching, and before you go, here's the perfect gift for the music lover in your life. It's my new album. Now that's what I call songs about the like button.
Yay.
Featuring such classic hits as Like to Like You Baby, the greatest like of all, Tainted Like.
Or you could just press the like button too, that works.
Crazy and Like. When a man likes a woman.
Thanks for watching.
I like
we'll see you
rock
next
and
time.
roll. All right, do you want to go buy some lunch now?
Yes, I should have enough money for lunch because I checked my bank account and I only bought the base console, no games or accessories or anything.
Doesn't that walk to the bank take you past the video game shop?
Yeah, what's your point?
Because you're holding 2 Switch games and a Pro controller.
Damn it!